Hi friends, welcome back to the library's kitchen. In today's video we'll be making a 1-minute microwave cookie. We're going to be trying this recipe 3 different ways. A basic chocolate chip cookie, a healthy version, a healthy cookie, and a sugar cookie. So I'm really excited to get started with you. First off, we'll need 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter. So my butter is already melted. I'm just going to lay that to the side. We'll need 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So for the chocolate chip cookie, I'm only going to be using brown sugar, not anything else. But for the other recipes, we'll be using white sugar. And actually, for one of them, we're going to be using maple syrup as the sweetener. So stay tuned for that. You will need a dash of baking powder. You could use baking soda, but I like to use baking powder for this recipe. A dash of salt and chocolate chips, and as many chocolate chips as you like. I like to go all out. And you'll need 1/3 cup of flour. So let's get started. I have my bowl ready. My butter is already melted, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the bowl. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my brown sugar. Okay. And I'm going to add the baking powder. I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this together before I add my flour and chocolate chips in. Okay, so now we're going to add our flour, and I'm going to do this slowly just so flour doesn't get all over the place. I'm going to slowly mix it in as well. Okay, so now that our flour is mixed in to the rest of the ingredients, I'm going to go ahead and add my chocolate chips. And again, you can basically add as many as you want. I like a lot in my cookies, so I'm just going to dump these chocolate chips in until I feel like it's good enough. Alright, now here comes the fun part. You're actually going to take your cookie dough mixture and kind of form it into a ball almost. So let's go and do that. And I'll show you what mine looks like. You want to leave your cookie in there for about 1 minute. Sometimes microwaves can be funny, and sometimes a minute might not be enough, or a minute might be too much for the cookie. So it all depends on your microwave, but I'm just going to go and leave the cookie in for 1 minute. And here's what our chocolate chip looks like after being in the microwave for about 1 minute. I'm going to let this cool down for a little bit just because it's really hot. So now it's ready to be enjoyed, and now we're going to get ready to do our healthy version of this recipe. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to do our healthy version of this recipe. Healthy as in we're just going to be substituting a few things. Instead of butter, we're going to be using coconut oil, and instead of sugar, we're going to be using maple syrup. But for the most part, everything is still the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my coconut oil to my bowl. And now for my maple syrup. And now I'm going to add my baking powder. I'm going to add my salt. And now let's just whisk that all together. Okay, so now we are ready to add our flour, and I'm actually going to be using whole wheat flour instead of white flour. So, and one thing I should point out is that whole wheat flour is a little more fine when you're baking it, so I'm going to be adding a half a cup instead of 1/3 a cup. So we'll just do that slowly and mix. Okay, and now that our flour is mixed in, I'm going to go and add our chocolate chips. Probably going to add the same amount as the regular chocolate chip cookie that we just did. Okay, now I'm just going to mix this in. And kind of the same thing that we did before with the other cookie, we're going to form it into a ball and make it into a cookie shape, place it on a plate, and put in the microwave for 1 minute. Okay, so here's what our healthy cookie looks like. Still smells super good, very hot. So I'm going to let this one cool down as well, and we'll get started on our final recipe. Alright, so now for our final recipe, I already added my melted butter to the bowl, and instead of adding brown sugar, I'm going to use plain white sugar, and I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons of that. And then I'm going to go and add my salt. Now for my baking powder. Now I'll just mix this all together. Okay, so we're ready to add our flour. I'm going to be using 1/3 a cup of flour, and we're going to be using plain white flour instead of whole wheat. Okay, so our flour has been added in and our dough is ready. Now this is an optional thing that I'm going to try. I'm going to be adding sprinkles to it to make it sort of like a microwave sugar cookie. So I'm going to do that and then place it on a plate and then place it in the microwave for about 1 minute. And here is what the final cookie looks like once it's been in the microwave for about 1 minute. Super cute, like your own little sugar cookie. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this cooking segment. I know this was a lot shorter than the last one I did, but this is a super easy cookie ingredient. If you have a sweet tooth like I do, I probably do this recipe, no lie, like 3 times a week if I'm craving something sweet and I don't feel like whipping something up. Anyways, I hope to see you guys next time, and take care for now.